Hi guys, it's Gavin from the Academy. Well done, one exam in the bag, and I trust it went very, very well. We're just having a little look at the paper here. A really nice, accessible paper. I know it's very easy for me to say that sitting here by myself, but yeah, we would all agree here in the English department that it's a very, very accessible paper, and certainly delighted that a number of elements, a number of different questions that we were saying that were on trend and we expected to see showed up. So it's really, really positive. I hope you guys enjoy is probably too much of a superlative. Enjoy is probably too far of a stretch, but certainly managed it very, very well and got through it, and you're looking forward to paper 2 now tomorrow. If we have a quick scan, if we have a quick scan of the paper here and we look at our cover sheet, again, something I was mentioning to the grinds and the day schoolers here, we were talking about the theme of the paper. It's not the be all and end all, but powerful voices immediately kind of gives us an idea of what we're going to get within the paper, kind of the spoken word, again, maybe anecdotal pieces as well, maybe sort of narrative and aesthetic pieces, and sure enough, that's absolutely what we received. So again, if we have a little look at text 1, text 2 and text 3 here, we'll have a little look at our question A's first. We were saying kind of pretty much all year that we expected to see 1, if not 2 texts having a narrative and aesthetic core. And sure enough, with text 2, if we skip over to text 2, we have our book compiled of personal essays, which again would obviously have an anecdotal, narrative and aesthetic core. And then text 3, obviously an extract from a novel, the novel in this case here, The Pages. So again, having a narrative and aesthetic core to it. Text 1, again, we have kind of an inauguration speech, but again, it's within an article. So again, there's a couple of different stylistic elements on the go there. If we jump to our questions, because obviously that's what it's all about, our split of 140 marks this year and the 40 mark questions, we needed to be mindful of the change in the marking scheme of our question 1 and question 2, moving from 15 to 10 marks. But again, as we've been saying consistently here in the Academy, you have to be mindful of how many elements and how many, I suppose, features they are looking for within each question. And we said here, no matter what, 5 marks equals 1 point, and 1 point equals its own separate paragraph. So question 1 here, which was the same through all 3 texts, asked for explaining an explanation of 3 insights, which means we were giving 3 paragraphs, a separate insight in each paragraph. Okay. The second question throughout all 3 texts as well had this real kind of opinionated core to it, and it was, again, you could see this one here just to take one for an example. Amanda Gorman's status as a powerful young voice was bolstered by her performance at the US presidential inauguration. Discuss the extent to which you agree or disagree. So straight away we could, argue that. We could have 1 point in agreement, 1 point in disagreement. That a diversity of youthful voices should be represented in public debate on all issues in Irish society. So very much, there's a huge amount of specificity within that question there that we need to make sure that we are on top of. But again, 2 points, two paragraphs, 5 marks per paragraph. And again, now this is less of a prediction, I suppose, more so that what is on trend, and certainly looking at the past paper last year, we were very much prepared for this type of question here, which was the elements of a writer's style question, which again we saw as all 3 question A part 3s. So again, if we have a little look, you could see maybe on text 2 this time, you look at question 3, identify 4 elements of Ockery's writing style evident in extract 2, and discuss how effectively, which again we remind ourselves we can challenge. So maybe one of our 4 paragraphs, one of our 4 points, we might have said however, which is something that we again would have encouraged here. These stylistic elements are employed to craft a lyrically beautiful, which we've seen before over the last couple of years, this language of lyrically beautiful and engaging piece. And engaging is reactionary. Again, engagement, again, what did you think, the impact it had on you? So a lot of personal reaction there, but the big thing was stylistic elements. So again, the style of, you would argue then, personal essays will be something to do with narrative and an aesthetic core. So each one of your 4 points basically dwelling on those stylistic elements. But each one of those question A part 3, guys, very much those style questions as predicted. Our question B's this year were certainly the less popular option, which is absolutely fine, totally understandable, because they're a little bit more verbose, they're a little bit more difficult. The open letter showing up, the text for a podcast, which is something we've been banging the drum about here for the last 2 or 3 years. And again, you remind yourself that the text for podcast is a text for radio talk. So again, very, very similar. We're just putting it in the online sphere using online vernacular. But again, you can see, yet again, 3 parts to every single one of the question Bs here. So you can see, again, reflecting on the importance of music in your life in terms of the podcast. Music, obviously a very popular topic that comes up a lot of the time as well. Discuss some of the particular pieces of music that make up the soundtrack to your own life, and share your thoughts and feelings on this music, or rather that this music evokes in you. So again, the 3 parts, that there's 3 core parts to every single question B, and all that added information there in terms of making it look realistic and making it look like it could exist in the real world. Remember our PAOS acronym: purpose, audience, register, and structure. It would have set us on the right task. And then finally, the other third option that year, or this year rather, write an editorial. If we skip over to our composition task now, which is the most important question in terms of our entire English Leaving Cert this year, just shy of 36% of our entire grade. We were very fortunate this year. We got some lovely questions that came up. 2 really, really nice personal essays, again, and very similar to that first personal essay there about the items and the objects in your life. Very similar to a useless clutter essay that took place and took part in our Leaving Cert a number of years ago as well. And then option 6 then, when you reflect on the value of engaging in all kinds of learning and the pleasure, satisfaction and personal growth that can be derived in doing so. And immediately you think about contextual elements, you think about the Leaving Cert, potentially COVID, any sort of relationships that you've been involved in, any sport. It's the same topics that come up over and over again. You look at, say, for example, the discursive essay, which is option 5, powerful voices in modern life, the discursive element that we're looking at both sides. And we think of a topic here that we're doing about leaders and leadership, the youth of today as well, the likes of Donald Trump versus Greta Thunberg, etc. So a lot to draw from that, definitely as well. And some really other nice options. The short story, certainly the option 7 there, the short story about music was quite a nice one. And then option 2, which I know a number of the candidates here would have gravitated towards, where you are a candidate in the next election for the presidency of Ireland. And that is an actual specific question that we've worked on time and time again here within the day school and indeed the grinds. So that is 2022. That's our English Leaving Cert paper. I trust you guys got on well, and hopefully that you're nice and settled in now to your revision for paper 2, and I trust that will go as well. Best of luck from all of us here at the Academy.